There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound.
Well, it's that time once again to go back racing, this time at the World Center of Racing here for the Farmers Insurance 117 for the Daytona International Speedway Road Course. Hello, one and all, and welcome to tonight's presentation with myself, Nola Rempo, up for the broadcast booth, along with Alfonso Nixon and Rob Melnick down behind the cameras. I want to welcome everybody here tonight to the, well, yet another round in the iRacing Stock Car Association Tucson Sound Art Cup Series. So we get set to go road course racing for the first time of the year here, Al, at the World Center of Racing. And what better road course to go racing than this Roval here at Daytona?
Absolutely. This is one of those time-honored legendary tracks, and what better way for us to get to see what the capabilities are for these cars on a road course than this Daytona track. I think it's going to be kind of exciting, and can't wait to see what these guys can actually drum up for us.
It should be a very, very entertaining race, to say the very least, for us here tonight. I mean, you got yourself a lot of cars that are going to be looking to come on out here and put on a solid show at the moment. I believe it's looking to be right about 16 drivers that are getting set to duke it out around this 4-mile road course. It is by far one of the longest road courses we'll be racing at on the calendar throughout the entirety of 2022. I believe the only couple that might be longer would be potentially the Circuit of the Americas, and then of course Road America towards the middle portion of the year. But this track right here will lead us, I'd say, a very good lead up towards next week's race out, which will, of course, see us racing around the oval for 100 laps, which will kick off not just yet another race and our first plate race on the year, but as well as that, we will be seeing the first race in the Tucson Sound Art Super Cup Series season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing about this track, a lot of effort's going in to getting these cars ready to turn left and right. We got bigger rims, bigger rotors. These cars don't necessarily stop on a dime. But actually showcasing that independent rear suspension, it's just going to be an exciting race. So these guys who normally just get to come out here and go real fast and turn left are going to get to showcase their skills of actually turning this thing left and right tonight, Nolan.
10 drivers have set times, and already there's a 7.6 second spread from top to bottom in the sheets. The drivers sitting up on top, Chris Severo, who will be looking to take the role of Clayton Hoffman here tonight, as he is already 1 second up on Eric Kling in this qualifying session from Daytona. So it is looking like Severo tonight, his number 62 car, could very well be the driver to beat. Now, of course, Hoffman just 3 nights ago on Thursday was one of the most dominant drivers you had out there in the field. He was, of course, a guy that was looking to, I would say, get some solid runs down. He was consistently a second plus quicker than everybody else around in the field, and he was a force to be reckoned with, and Severo is looking to go for the clean sweep as well.
Yeah, but this track's how many turns we got? What, 16? You got to make every turn, and they got to be perfect. So he's definitely got the stamina to go the distance. We've seen Severo dominate this series here most of the year. So yeah, as if anything, it's his race to lose. So we have to definitely see what's going to play out for us.
2 minutes left in qualifying for the time being. You're watching Kenny Powell duking his way around the racetrack, and here's G&G Premier Racing Setup Shop's number 24 Toyota Camry. He currently sits 6th fastest on the boards and is just coming across the line now for his second lap, which will not see him improve on the day. So unfortunately for Kenny Powell there, wasn't able to improve. In fact, he was actually about half a second slower on that second lap. And there you see the likes of Josh Schaffner, who's hitting back out on the racing circuit. He was already technically on his second lap, but had a bit of a spin on his second lap, so just going out there to get a little bit of last-minute practice with 90 seconds left in qualifying.
Yeah, as qualifying comes to a close, a lot of these guys are going to be wanting to try to just get off to a nice, easy start, get smooth. That's the key to this racetrack, is the consistency, and it's actually like you have to be smooth in, smooth out, easy on the gas, steady on the brakes. That's the way that you're going to get around this course fast enough to make it work.
60 seconds left in qualifying. 11 drivers have now taken to the timing boards. Josh Schaffner, the only one of those, that is right now on the racetrack. He is 1.5 seconds behind Eric Kling, but it is worth noting that is 1.8 seconds up still from Chris Johnson. So I have a feeling that Schaffner, Kling, and Severa could very well be the drivers that are going to end up on the podium at the end of the night.
Yeah, those are some pretty nice lap times that they got there. Pretty close together. But, hey, you know, we've talked about this time and time again. They still have to keep themselves clean in order to make it to be available at the end of this thing in order to get on the podium or in the victory circle. So as qualifying comes to a close, I think we're going to go ahead and step away for our national anthem.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engine! Starting on pole position for us here tonight is going to be the likes of Chris Severa with Eric Kling beside him on the front row. Josh Schaffner is going to be down in third place with Chris Johnson rounding out the podium. Wayne Grossi is fifth with Kenny Powell down in sixth. That puts Greg Wyszynski in seventh. Gary Adamson rounds out the eighth place with Jay Hone and John Mullins rounding out your top 10, Al.
Al Keselowski is going to be in the 11th place car with Robert Pattengale in 12th. Mark Johnston 13th has Ron Strunk in the 14th position with Don Avery in 15th, and Paul Olson rounds out your 16 car field.
16 cars getting set to duke it out here tonight at what should be a very entertaining Farmers Insurance 117. And I have to say, I am very much looking forward to how tonight's race could play out as a whole. Before we do go green flag racing, though, I do want to give a quick shout out, of course, to the overall sponsor of this series, Tucson Sound Art. Tucson Sound Art introduces an entirely new and enjoyable way to listen to music in your own home. Uploading and making your own images and pictures into sound art as easy as 1, 2, and, well, 3. Everyone who looks at the picture will wonder where the great sound is coming from. A single charge will last days and gives you the ability to go truly wireless with no power cables. Sound art looks good in any room in the house, from the front room to the back room. The speakers are powered by batteries and receive audio via a Bluetooth connection, meaning nobody will even know that the art they're looking at is actually producing the sound they're hearing. Tucson Sound Art specializes in creating custom artwork from your personal artwork and photos. You can also choose images from their expansive collection of high-quality photos. It's the perfect gift for friends, family, and business associates. To learn more, visit www.tucsonsoundart.com. 33 laps getting set for us here at Daytona.
Yeah, 33 laps, broke it up into 2 stages. Stage 1 is going to come at 7 laps. Stage 2, 13 laps. And then the final stage wrap it up at 33. Driver's going to have 5 tire sets in a fuel window. Looks like a 14 laps.
And that, of course, will mean that once again, fuel will be in question for these drivers in that third and final stage. We're expecting for these guys to be coming on down into pit road, and I would imagine that would be roughly right around with between 6 and 10 laps to go in the race, which would be about halfway, just about through your third and final stage on the day. As the field is starting to round the final couple of corners here behind the ISCA safety car. Who's your pick to win tonight's race here, Al? I'm going for Mr. Severa up in front.
Well, you know, that's a tough one. I think I want to see how Schaffner does. Plus, Powell is also kind of consistent on this track, so I just it's hard for me to pick one clear-cut winner.
Field's going to be coming around through the final chicane now. We want to thank all of the viewers, for whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live, for joining us for tonight's race here from the Daytona International Speedway and the Farmers Insurance 117. Out of the final chicane, and it is now in the hands of the iRacing starter as Chris Severa going to take us to the iRacing green, and we are underway from Daytona.
Yes, driver's going to come on into turn one. Looks like Chris Severa is going to show the way, going to drive that number 62 car right around there clean with Eric Clean behind him and Josh Schaffner tucking in right behind him.
Single file all the way back to Kenny Powell, who's looking to go the inside of Greg Wyszynski up into the International Horseshoe for the first time today, but swings it out wide. Wyszynski trying to cut it in, but just no space for the 5 car to make a run. But look at the speed that the number 5 has exiting the International Horseshoe, enough that he has to back off to keep it in behind Kenny Powell. Chris Johnson now looks to the outside line with Wayne Grossi trying to find something maybe up the inside just in front of them in the fight for third. That's not going to happen though. So for fourth place, Wayne Grossi pulling clear of Chris Johnson, the top 3 already with 2 seconds. Behind this, Grossi goes straight on into the tire barriers, and the number 7 car going to be tumbling out of the top 10.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate for Grossi, as it looks like he's even lost his cover on that one. You know, as we didn't even get a chance to say, well, hopefully Grossi will have some good luck today, as Chris Severa goes and takes his own around the corner here to complete lap 1.
You saw it on the replay right there. Grossi just locking up the brakes, going straight on, right into the corner, head on into the tire barriers. Got it back on track, did not have to take the tow and fall back to about 15th place. There you can see the likes of Chris Severa with Eric Clayton just tucked in behind him. Clayton wobbling deep on the brakes, trying to lunge to the inside into the front straight, which can. It's not going to happen though. So Severa will lead the opening lap from the Daytona road course, and you got battles picking on up everywhere you look throughout the racetrack, with Don Avery just getting past Robert Pattengale deeper in the field, and that's going to check him Kozlowski and Hone, who are trying to sneak through as well.
Yeah, it looks like Houghton got right into the back of Kozlowski there. I don't think Clean expected to drive in as hard as he did on Severa. He might have been a little bit surprised. But I was just going to say it was amazing that everybody made it through, you know, that first lap unscathed. But then, well, Grassi actually hits the wall for us. But Eric Clean right now, he's just going to be showing himself right behind Chris Severa, just going to try to tuck in behind him, but not let him get too much of a lead as Chris Severa go ahead and leads us along on lap 2.
All in the while, things are looking a bit more steady up in front. You'll look a bit further towards the back of the field with Ryan Strunk, Greg Wyszynski, and Gary Adamson in a bit of a spaced out battle at the moment for the 6th, 7th, and 8th positions on the racetrack. Wyszynski has already lost 2 from the top of the lap. There is the number 77 car of Strunk, who you just saw for a brief moment on your screens. Now up into the 7th position, on the racetrack. And overall, still looking pretty sorted for everybody in the field. No moves being made up towards the front for the race leaders. I am seeing yellow flags. Mark Johnson appears to have taken a small slide in his MRN number 6 Mustang, as you see him just rejoining the racetrack in NASCAR Turn 1.
Yeah, Mark Johnson, a newcomer to the series, actually made his debut last Saturday night with a couple other drivers. Those guys actually doing pretty good. Looks like Don Avery rides it in there a little bit hard on another newcomer to the series, Mr. Mullins, going into the bus stop.
And off the track as well, side by side through the bus stop, just does not work in these Gen 7 cars. He tried for the inside on John Mullins, but Don Avery just not having a good run, and he'll find himself dropping well out now. As a result of that, you'll look at the replay from above, deeper on the brakes, looks for the inside, tries to go for it, no room, and has to swing out wide to avoid taking Mullins with him.
Yeah, the fortunate thing for him is it didn't look like he actually made any contact with that number 11 car, so he'll actually be able to get back up on line. As looks like Jay Hone is going to go by Mr. Mullins. Going to go by the 64 car there on the inside for position change.
And John Mullins getting through there just nicely, and he will now be falling a little bit further back. That will put him down in 10th place, but still inside the stage points. That was an outside pass into turn number 1, and well executed at that, as Ryan Strunk having an off just up the road. The number 77 car going around to the West Horseshoe, and this could be big for 7th place. Hassel and Wachinski through, and there's not really a good spot to rejoin the track because he's got a good number of drivers coming up on him. This is going to drop him well down the order.
Yeah, he was just focused on too much on Gary Adamson, and next thing you know, that turn just came up on him way too quick. And like you said, he is going to lose a ton of positions and fall down, as Grassi and Avery are now battling for position back there for the 12th position.
Certainly are a lot of the battles so far taking place a little bit further down your running order for the time being. Grassi, meanwhile, closing up on the back end of Al Kozlowski. This would be the fight for, I believe, 10th and 11th place now on the racetrack, with Grassi with no front clip still trying to see if he can find his way through, and all the while Jay Hone way off the track just in front of them and going for a bit of a lawnmowing excursion. Never seen a car that far down onto the grass. I mean, he's so far down there, he just about got into, I believe, what was an access road that is used to get to the lake on the infield.
Well, hey, he paid his admission fee, so he can drive this whole track anytime, any way that he wants to. So this battle is really heating up. Looks like we're going to have Grassi right there smack dab in the middle of this battle with Kozlowski and Avery. Avery definitely trying to make up some positions as he bobbled himself a little bit and find himself all the crazy. Oh, as Kozlowski's going to, looks like he's going to let Grassi go by. Avery now is going to try to make himself scarce and get by on the inside, but Kozlowski not looking like he's going to turn the favor on him as well.
Solid overtake for Grassi, putting himself back up into the 9th position. Don Avery trying to bump Kozlowski once again outside of the top 10. Has got the over-under out of the International Horseshoe, but Kozlowski's got the momentum up on the top. Oh, and Avery clips the grass and forced to yield as a result, as he got a mighty big tank slapper going, but has a better line for the King, and he's going to try to force the issue here. Outside line into the West Horseshoe. Avery takes the outside line through turn 5 and out through 6. It looks like Avery will not be able to make that spot work, and into the braking zone to turn 6. It's just not going to happen. This is not a corner you can realistically overtake it.
Yeah, but look here, though. The 77 car, Brian Strunk, is going to make himself available for that position as well. So as these guys are going to come down that backstretch, they're going to be lining themselves up. And Kozlowski says he wants no part of it. He'd rather go ahead and get his run and try to come in late, as the 77 car is going to try to get the run on Don Avery on the outside. And Avery touching that yellow line, looks like he's not going to give up that position, but he's had trouble breaking there before. Thinks better of it and lets that 77 car go by.
Yeah, Avery got a bit crossed up on the exit of NASCAR too, and that forced him to yield right on the exit of turn number 8 of the run up to 9. So it was a wise move there on Don Avery to kind of back out there and just let Ryan Strunk have the one. He wasn't realistically going to be able to hold on to that position. That is just about sorted all of the close position or battles for positions you got throughout the field. That being said, if Ryan Strunk keeps making errors like the one he just made there, this fight could very quickly pick right back up for a battle for what would be the 10th position in the last position that scores stage points on the racetrack, of which, by the way, there's only 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. That pit road's actually going to be closing here pretty soon. It's interesting to see that 6 car still down there on pit road. Mark Johnston, not sure what's actually going on with those guys. But as we get ready to close pit road and put stage 1 coming to an end here with 2 laps remaining.
Still about 2.5. Battle for 5th place is on. Gary Anderson is caught up to the likes of Kenny Powell, and is now trying to find his way through. And I think Kenny Powell might have had a bit of a slide to the West Horseshoe, which is what allowed Adamson to close on up. Will he be brave enough, though? And will he have enough speed to potentially go for a pass down into the bus stop chicane on the back straightaway? I think that is going to be the really big ticket question for the time being. So we'll see here as Adamson exits turn 8. And the run down for 9 looks for the inside, a little bit deeper on the brakes, but I don't think he's going to be able to get that position done just yet.
Yeah, Powell definitely going to have to do everything he can to keep Adamson from going around him, as they are actually battling 4 points. And these point positions are very, very critical as we get ready to put this stage 1 in the backs. Grassi actually makes it by Mullins on the inside, and the 77 car's truck is going to try to do the same thing. These guys are battling for positions in the top 10, which consequently are points positions as well as the points pay through the top 10 positions.
2 laps to go. Pit road is closed for stage number 1 on the day. Already this race is starting to fly right by us. And no changes to be made in this scrap here for 9th, 10th, and 11 on the racetrack for the time being. Strunk will have a look at the inside of John Mullins, this time by down to the turn number 1. Mullins breaks a touch later, able to carry some momentum, but Strunk not giving in. He's got the inside line through an off-camber turn 1. Bit of a slide for the 77 Kathy Maloney machine, but he is through into 9th.
Yeah, so you got to believe that Mullins can't be too relaxed having that 11 car Donna Avery behind him in his rearview mirror, but also you got the 12 car Jay Hone coming in. These guys are actually doing pretty good on this road course, don't you think, Donna?
Putting on a good show for us so far over the course of the day. Oh, Avery slid out wide. He's made a mistake again. The same one he made just a few laps ago, and now he is way off into the grass, and he'll lose out a spot to John Mullins as a result, and Jay Hone will go through into 11th as a result of Avery's mistake. How about Don Avery? Has not had a good start to this race at all. Worked his way up so far, but those errors are just costing him big time.
Yeah, it's just the amount of concentration that it takes in order to complete a lap on this road course. As we're looking here with Powell, with Adamson still stuck directly in his backside as he's coming around to the lap. You know, Powell, he's got a good rhythm going, but the problem is when you got somebody behind you like this, they can easily just kind of outbreak you and get down to the inside. So that's what Powell's going to be very cognizant of. Oh, and looks like Adamson into the wall is going to make contact as Powell makes it on through the chicane.
Head on into the wall, face first with the Monster Energy Ford Mustang. Gary Adamson takes a slide and goes nose first into the safer barrier. You're going to watch this one. I think just gets it wrong on the transitioning down into the entry of the corner, and all you can really do at that point is just lock it up and hope for the best. Good news for Adamson. He did not lose any positions because Greg Wyszynski was so far back. I think at this point he's just going to be more focused on just trying to limp that thing back home.
Yeah, I think he was actually more focused on his move after next instead of the one that was right in front of him. But Jay Hone now actually putting it onto that John Mullins car, that number 64 car. So looks like we're going to go ahead and get this one in the books with Chris Severa not looking like he's going to be challenged. We'll run through that order for you. Chris Severa is going to be our leader in stage 1. Eric Kling taking second place with Josh Schaffner rounding out the top 3.
And entering the back straightaway chicane for the final time today, Chris Severa is looking to have a solid run up at the front of this field. He has so far led every single lap, and he is now 3.3 seconds up from Eric Kling. He's got no pressure, no reason to push it too hard into this chicane down on the front straightaway. We'll still have to wait for 10th place to come across the line, which is all the way back in NASCAR turn 2, but up in front for the meantime, it will be the likes of Chris Severa to win stage 1 from Daytona.
And that 10th place position has not yet been solidified as Jay Hone is still giving Mr. Mullins everything that he can as those two are now coming in. Jay Hone has his bumper, his nose right up in that 64's bumper, and he's actually been following him for quite a while, Nolan. So I think he's about ready now to set him up to make his move.
I think he lost too much time, though, on the exit of that backstretch chicane. He's so far back at the run through NASCAR 3 and 4, unless he really tries something massive into the front stretch chicane, which he only might. Looking at what he closes on up, really deep on the brakes, but it's too little, too late, and John Mullins will hang on to the final point scoring position in stage 1.
So as we round out stage 1, Chris Severa, your first place winner. Eric Kling in second, Josh Schaffner third, Chris D. Johnson in fourth, Kenny Powell fifth, Gary Adamson sixth, Greg Wachinski seventh, Wayne Grossi eighth, Ryan Strunk in ninth, and John Mullins are rounding out those top 10 points positions.
So with all of that said and done, we'll take a quick step away, and we'll be back with pit stops when we come back.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Under the caution period still, the field has just caught the pace car. Pit road opens this time by. We're expecting to see just about everybody coming on down into the pit road here for service. Every car except the number 16 car, or sorry, the number 6 car, who is going to be further in the back.
Yeah, Mark Johnson looked like he had actually spent a little bit of time on pit road out of sequence, so it's still going to take him a while to get back around, and interesting to see if he actually does come into pit in some action.
Field coming down into pit road this time by, as everybody looks set to get themselves sorted.
So,
Mark Johnson, is going to be getting the lucky dog position, I think is worth noting as well, because he was 2 laps down to caution him out, so he should be back on the lead lap by the time we get to green flag racing for stage 3.
provided that everybody else can keep their cars out of the safer barriers, right?
That is very much correct. So far, it looks like just about everybody out of pit road safe and sound. Strunk had a bit of a close call. Clipped the grass just a touch. Thought he might go around. He was side by side, but they got all of that sorted out mighty quickly. So with that being said, why don't we see if we can't dial up your stage 1 winner of the night. We'll pull up one Chris Severa and hopefully not distract him in his efforts to catch up to the pace car. So Chris, you win stage 1 by some margin, but you're 3rd out of pit road. What happened there?
Yeah, we had a little problem with loading in of the pit boxes. My guy kind of showed up late and caught me a little off guard. And these things break once you get some heat into the brakes, but once we, are going around at pace speed, they cool off, and it's a little bit more difficult actually coming to a complete stop, so we overshot it a bit. I'm not all too worried about it. I think as long as we can keep the rear tires underneath of us, I think we were starting to pull away there towards the end. I think we'll be in okay shape.
With all that being said, how are you feeling about the race overall? I mean, it's a very unique road course. I think it's worth noting. One of the most famous road course oval hybrids at that. And so far, you look like you're negotiating it quite nicely.
Yeah, I definitely like it. It's obviously it's a classic. The speedway everyone goes to. The only thing I wish we had the red and blue rumble strips on that final chicane. I think that would be a lot more fun. But unfortunately, we still got the yellow ones. Definitely difficult to navigate, but when you get those 2 chicanes just right, it's just like chef's kiss, But no, I really like it. Once you get into a rhythm, it's really fun to go around.
So you've still got some ways to go, but you've been looking up so far in practice. Do you think you'll be able to get past these guys in front of you and take a stage 2 win as well?
Yeah, I think we're just going to take care of the rears, get to them when we get to them, not try and force the issue, because we spin the tires too early. We're just not going to have a chance coming off of any of the corners. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do.
We'll let you go then here. Chris, anybody you'd like to shout out for us for that number 62 G&G machine?
Just everyone at G&G putting in the laps this week. We did a lot of different things to get this thing where we needed it to. A lot of messing with the rear end ratio to figure out where we needed first gear to be. So big thanks to everybody who did that. Yeah, you guys every week for putting it in. Hopefully I'll be up there talking to you in a couple more laps.
Fingers crossed, Chris. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Best of luck throughout the rest of the race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Chris Severa joining us up here in the broadcast booth. Your stage 1 winner on the course of the night, but still has 2 more stages to go. Now, we've seen what he can do trying to keep people in behind him here, Al. I think we'll just have to wait and see here what Severa will be able to do now that he'll have to be on offense.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to just how aggressive he's going to want to be here on the restart. If he's going to want to sit back in that 3rd place, or if he's actually want to go ahead and try to get a run. Me personally, I'm a 3rd place kind of guy, but Severa obviously is used to being out front, and he has definitely been putting on a clinic here tonight, hasn't he?
That he very much is. He's been doing a solid job so far. He's led every lap so far through the course of this race. That being said, it's going to be a bit challenging for him now that he gets himself in the over in in a more offensive position now as Chris Johnson. Does he have something against plastic cones sticking out of the road? Because he has just tried to knock over every single cone on the racetrack from here to Sunday, and it looks like he might not be quite finished yet. You can see him aiming for it, and oh, there he goes, looking to take more out and just create more work for the course marshals.
Wow, you know, you think you know somebody, and next thing you know, they're out here just running over all the poor little cones.
Cue the classical music for the team. I think it's like the Team 15G Arca Break Weekly videos, right? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
It's actually been a very clean race, Nolan. Really, just aside from a couple little incidents, guys have been doing very well at keeping their cars clean, keeping the lines clean, and you know, and they've even given us some pretty exciting racing. Of course, that was for 10th place there back a couple of laps ago, but still, hopefully, I think as this thing gets ready to go green again, I believe the lights are out on the pace car, are they? The lights are out on the pace car, so if this thing gets ready to go green again, hopefully stage 2 can prove to be as exciting as stage 1.
Should be an entertaining restart indeed. You should have a lot of drivers that would be looking to get themselves a bit further up towards the front of this field here tonight, especially deep in behind, and who knows if Schaffner and Kling might be able to keep the lights very behind them. They were matching pace with him a little bit, at least in the opening parts of these stages, so who knows? The opportunity's there for them to try to make something work here up in the front.
Yeah, absolutely. In this stage, you can run pretty much as hard as you want to. There's really no reason to save anything back. Don't let Severa go out there and keep gobbling up all of those stage points. You know, mix it up a little bit. Definitely, this will be the chance to do it. Looks like race cars that will lead these guys in. And you know, Nolan, what are your thoughts on road course racing? Are you a road course fan or not?
I'm a big-time road course fan. It's definitely one of the more unique forms of racing out there, and I have to say, oh, trouble! Oh, they spin coming to the green. Wachinski and Powell, the G&G teammates, getting into it with each other. They didn't even make it to the green flag.
Yeah, looks like Powell just got into him coming out of the bus stop there.
Did not see that one coming. We'll take a look at this one here on the replay, and I don't know if Wachinski didn't leave enough room to take the corner, but we'll look at it here, and oh, Powell clipped the curb and just went into him. That's what happened.
Yeah, it looks like that 95 car is just not even paying any attention to it. He's just rolling on the way, and now Severa actually finds himself in 4th place now behind that of Christy Johnson. Josh Schaffner's in 2nd with Eric Kling leading the way. Severa now going to dive on back on the inside there, take that 3rd place position back from Johnson, just kind of underbrake them a little bit. But Kling actually showing the way here as we are back to a green flag race.
So far, so good, other than that initial debacle. You come to our stage 2 green, and Chris Severa is 1.8 seconds from Eric Kling, just 1 second back from Josh Schaffner, just a little ways up the road. So Severa will be looking to close. We'll watch that battle as it develops. For 10th place, Kenny Powell and Al Kozlowski looking to duke it out with Robert Pattingill just tucked in behind. So Shake and Bake and G&G, it looks like these two teams looking set to scrap it out of the run down towards the bus stop chicane on that back straightaway. Powell looks for the inside on Kozlowski. Not close enough, though. He's forced to back out. And he'll have to maybe wait one more lap if he wants to try to retake that position.
Yeah, Kozlowski looked like he just kind of bobbled a little bit there coming out of the bus stop chicane. But Powell, you know, he's definitely having to, he kind of rattled himself a little bit. Now he's got to try to get back in the game, get back in that rhythm, shake it off, and see if he can't salvage at least the top 10 out of this thing.
And so far, looking steady all throughout the course of this field. Now that the initial start has been kind of done and dusted with, Chris Severa has caught Josh Schaffner for 2nd place, and he's going to look at the inside with a dive bomb up into the International Horseshoe. Severa going for 2nd place. Schaffner looking to try to cover him off, but Severa says, No, thank you. I want the second place. Schaub is not willing to yield, though, up into the King. This is going to get tight between the two of them. Up for turn 4. Severa's forced towards the right-hand side, but takes it around the outside of the King, and he's up to second again.
Schofter's still not quite done yet, although he did yield to Severa. I think he is still going to try to keep himself as nice and tight there, so maybe hoping that if Severa has a bobble, he'll actually be able to get that position back. But Kling not letting this phase him as he's continuing to run away with this thing just a little bit, but Severa definitely has a bead on his back now as he's got second place secured.
Solid effort so far from everybody in this field to get themselves sorted. We'll look back a little deeper in the field to Jay Hone, why not, and John Mullins. This battle for 7th place started to pick on up with Hone using the draft to close up to the back of John Mullins towards the backstretch chicane, but forced to break early. Mullins misses the chicane, though. That'll allow Hone to close right back up. And Jay Hone will now have a much bigger run this time for the front straightaway and already moving to the outside line. And I know what he's doing here, right, Al? He's trying to use that momentum to try to carry him around the outside line and maybe see if he can set something up to dive bomb Mullins into the final chicane here, but just not close enough. I think he would have had to tuck into the draft a bit more if he wanted to properly make something work there.
Yeah, it's almost the way these two ended that first stage as well, though. They've been battling just this same way. Mullins definitely not ready to give up that position yet. But what they're allowing to do is they're actually allowing Don Avery to just kind of get away a little bit further on. Jay Hone's going to drive it in there nice and deeper on turn 1 as he's going to try to get a position. But, oh, looks like Mullins gets a little sideways, but throttles it through as these two continue to dogfight for positions.
Nasty little tank slider there for Al, and a lockup for Hone. Sees him run deep. He takes Mullins out. John Mullins taken out, and Jay Hone gonna go through up into 7th place, but I doubt that's the way he wanted to take the position. And now John Mullins gonna be dropped all the way back down to 10th. Mullins is bound to be fuming at the moment with the likes of Jay Hone.
Yeah, I was saying at Home better be on that radio or getting somebody to go down there and take those guys a Coke, because he just totally wiped out the 64 car. And you can believe, Nolan, there is going to be some payback in his future if they could ever get back up close to him again.
Not going to be willing to leave Hone an inch of room, it would appear. And the closest battle now, apart from this, is a little bit further back with Al Kozlowski and Robert Pattengale in the fight for 11th and 12th. Mark Johnston, by the way, has taken his car back down to pit road and is now 3 laps down. So it looks like Johnston might be finding himself out of the race from here on out, as he is no longer going to be in contention for a race win.
Yeah, he was still shown as 2 laps down, but yeah, as that battle still does rage on between Kozlowski and Pattengale. Pattengale's got to be pretty happy with his performance today. Probably doing a little bit better on this road course than he has been with some of the previous tracks we had. And was that 5 car come blazing by? Oh, where's he going?
Helps if Pattengale lifts off a little bit just to allow Wachinski through. I think he realized how fast he was coming up on him and didn't want to necessarily take the risk. So he thought just move up and out of the way and let him have it. Which is, you know, not always a terrible idea, right? You got to use some discretion. And Ryan Strunk going around in the number 77 car, and that was out of the final chicane. So that number 77 car having yet more problems in his Kathy Maloney number 77 Chevrolet Camaro. We'll take a look at the replay here into the final chicane. And has he just clipped the curb or too heavy on the right foot? Nope, it was a clip of the curb that sent him around.
Yeah, those curbs are just not forgiving. If you just get one wheel on there with these things, it seems like they'll send you around. Wachinski now still diving in there on Kozlowski. Looks like he's going to be hunting him down for the 11th position. That's the biggest battle that we have on the track right now. Eric Kling still leading Chris Severa. Severa hadn't yet been able to close that gap, as it appears they've got almost a 3-second deficit on those two. But we're just enjoying our green flag racing as we are now coming up to lap 13, which means the pit road will actually be closing here pretty soon, though.
It already has been closed at the top of the lap, so 1.5 laps, about to be 1 lap to go here in the stage, and now it'll be all up to the likes of Chris Severa. Can he potentially work his way up and take Eric Kling for that final position in the stage for points? So far, hasn't necessarily been able to have the best of runs. We'll keep eyes on this fight just until that gets a little bit closer together, with Shinsky and now Kozlowski still nice and close with each other. They're about 3/4 of a second separated, with Shinsky still closing in ever more by over a second a lap up to Al Kozlowski. I imagine he's going to be getting around him before the stage break here.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, I think his move was probably a little bit too late, as they are just going to finish right outside of points. But, you know, this second stage has definitely been just as exciting as the first, even though the race the racing wasn't necessarily always up front. It just seems like there's been racing, consistently good racing all over the track all the time.
Kozlowski's deep into turn 1. Wachinski going to go for the over-under, and looks like the 5 car might have a bit of a tough time here. Clips the curb, but can have a good run here. Looks for the inside on Kozlowski into the International Horseshoe. No dice for the number 5 machine. So Kozlowski looks like he might just be able to hold on to 11th place. Meanwhile, 9th and 8th getting close. Powell looking for the inside into the West Horseshoe, but no dice for the 24.
Yeah, that 7 car, he's liquid auto cooled right now. He doesn't even have a bonnet on that thing. He's still finding a way to keep it up in the money. So he's definitely got to be smiling about the performance that they are putting on. I thought they were kind of going to be a little bit out of it earlier on, but Grossi definitely showing that little bit of a run with that tire barrier there had actually nothing to do with his performance, as he looks like he's going to even walk away from Powell a little bit. Powell's probably setting him up, as he's going to probably try to drive down on the inside as he come into the bus stop, because these are points positions, like we said.
And all the while, Kling coming through the final chicane now in the front straightaway. Severa gets within a second, but is not able to get there. Eric Kling holds on for a stage 2 win.
Well, looks like we're going to get to possibly, if you'll be able to dial him up, we'll get to talk to somebody other than Chris Severa for once, right? Seems like he's always been dominating these stage wins. As stage 1 comes to a close here, we're riding along with looks like Mr. Mullins, who's got that 10th place secured, and that will be the final points spot.
But he's coming to pit road, meaning Wachinski will actually steal 10th place away as he comes across the line. It's going to be a drag race sound, and Wachinski does get him right at the line, stealing the final stage point away from Mullins.
I don't think Mr. Mullins had been briefed on the point system.
What on earth did we just witness? I'm speechless. He just threw away a stage point right there. Came down to pit road, and we're talking with just about 100 feet to go. Wachinski got him. I don't think he realized how far back he was.
Yeah, that was a very interesting run. I think we're going to go ahead and step away real quick here for a word from our sponsors.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
Well, welcome back to Daytona on what has been a very unusual ending to the second stage here. First through ninth was all as you'd expect. Then John Mullins happened. He came down pit road while pit road was still closed and got passed right at the line by Wachinski for 10th place. He was on the racetrack. And now, John Mullins has been penalized for that. He is now sitting in pit road serving said penalty. And you and I were both discussing here, Al, that he was potentially hoping maybe it would be quite the play, but maybe since he already pitted, if he could serve that penalty in time, he could sweep around and take the race lead under the caution period. But he's still sitting in the pit road, and the field's coming down pit road now.
No, I don't think that was the play. I think that just kind of goes down as, you know, one of the bonehead moves of the week. I don't believe it was a strategy involved. I think it was just a misunderstanding. And so now we can actually do this. We can go ahead and say, you know, that stage was actually affected by his coming down pit road. It actually did allow Wachinski to move up into that 10th position and gather that stage point.
And more importantly, this has now trapped John Mullins a lap down, because the field leaders have passed him now, so he is now in pit road and stuck one lap down.
Yeah, it looks like Johnson just lost it coming off of pit road, so that's going to probably set him back just a little bit as well.
And I have even more news, just to add chaos. You see Chris Johnson going on his cone murdering spree again. Al Kozlowski stayed out. There's really no way to do that, but I don't know how to sum all of this up.
Keselowski stayed out, or is he going to late pit? Because we've got cars a lap down, so maybe his intent is to come back and hit a late pit stop. Because, yeah, it makes no sense to stay out right now. I don't see how that would benefit anybody.
He made no move to come down to pit road. He angled the car towards the pit road, but never even dipped below the double yellow line. I wish I could tell you what was going on. I really do, but I have no idea. I'm just clueless at the moment.
Well, how many more laps does he have on fuel?
Well, we got 20 laps to go in the race. 14 laps estimated on a full tank. So regardless, people are going to have to pit again. He's already been out there for 7. So we'd have about 7 laps of fuel left. That would put him with 13 laps to run when we take the green. He's going to have to stop earlier than everybody else if he stays out here, assuming he does. but that would put him in some relatively clean air.
And it would give him a pretty good option there, because then he controls his own destiny. And we've seen Keselowski milk this thing on gas before. I mean, that's one of his most signature moves, isn't it? I mean, he's actually stayed out and past you and I's mindset on how long people could have made it on fuel. So I don't know. I don't know what his strategy is, but I think we're probably getting ready to get a good look at it.
Get a headache from trying to track all of these pit strategies as the night goes on. I mean, my goodness, this whole race has been overturned on its head as a result of this. Kozlowski leads from Kling, from Severa, and I would say maybe, those drivers were, trying to gang up to potentially have it where Kling's on a more optimal strategy to take Kling into turn 1. But they're all on the same team. It's a GNG 1, 2, 3. I cannot for the life of me figure out why. And the only thing that I think would get me is he wants to be up in the lead of this race for at least a short period of time. And maybe keep these other guys at bay. And then short pit, get out on fresh tires for the rest of the race.
That's the only thing that I was thinking that would have made any sense. Because, on a road course, the one thing that you can guarantee is the next flag that flies ends this thing. I mean, so it's not like there's going to be an opportunity for you to catch a break under a caution. It's not going to happen. So your pit strategy is just going to be that. You're going to have to come down under green flag conditions to get 4 freshies and fuel. And now, the amount of time that he's actually able to stay out, it could put him it could actually put him in a favorable position.
It's all starting to come to a head here at the Daytona International Speedway road course. Lights are on the pace car, but the field is single file still. And this is somewhat of an unsaid gentleman's agreement that was kind of made before this race began, right, Alan? It's basically, don't go double file until you reach the oval. There's no point. It's a very tight portion of the road course. You can barely go too wide through there anyway. There's no point trying to tear it up into caution, right? You got plenty of time once you hit that oval to get yourselves properly doubled up again before you go green flag racing.
Yeah, and plus I think we've more than demonstrated that we still have a little trouble controlling these things even under caution.
Chris Johnson's damaged nose would like to have a word with you about that one.
Right, and now you have to speculate there just how much damage, how the damage is going to affect these cars. Which, sometimes these cars, it looks like they got steel jaws, and sometimes it's like they're eggshells. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Chris Johnson did come back down under the pit road, or under this latest caution period. Second time, just so we could get some of that damage fixed that he tore up on the front end when he, of course, crashed coming out of pit road. Now, he finds himself just exited onto the oval. He'll be able to catch this field of time. And I have to say, that front, though, is already looking a little bit better for wear. Hopefully, he won't be too damaged. He'll be able to stay in the fight here.
Yeah, it looks like he's down there for all the 53.6 seconds there of nose repair for him down on pit road. But he has still got himself up here in a pretty good position. So we'll see how it plays out for him.
It's a long time for fixing damage, but certainly did a good job on getting everything sorted. And now, just as he catches the field, we get set to go back racing. Should be a very, very entertaining final 20 or so laps of racing here from the World Center of Racing at the Daytona International Speedway. So the safety car starts to take them through the final chicane before we go green flag racing. Will he make it? They don't! Kozlowski's dumb! Kozlowski's dumb! He's into the wall! The Ringstar leader into the outside wall.
Wait,
the second time.
Does that black flag everybody though? He still has to take. He has to take the checkered flag first, the green flag first.
And right at the buzzer, caution gets extended. as you just saw in the replay. So we're going to take another lap.
Yeah,
because
because if we,
Lasky took the
yeah.
toe.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. So he would have actually had to have crossed, and I don't know why he took the toe. It was going to take him longer to get his car back around there.
I think it was killed. I think it was killed when it hit the wall. I mean, that was a hard hit to the outside wall, and it does not take much.
Well, then Eric Kling backs into Robert Pattengale to make everything even better. So I think we just tore up a bunch of nice cars under caution, which I just said that we have not yet demonstrated that we can still handle these cars proficiently under caution.
Now I have to say, I think they should have just gone either single file or just bypass that last chicane altogether. That was what a few people do. Like, they'll just go through and they'll just skip the chicane altogether. Just take a look from there, clinging. That hit. You saw the back of the car lift. I think that really just does go to show just how much. Oh my gosh.
Now, Eric Kling, up to that point, had a pretty fast car. I mean, but now it's all beat up. I don't know how much it's going to affect him, but it's definitely going to have some impact on his handling and performance. You know, this is not just for aesthetics, guys. The damage on these cars does affect them in minute ways, but I guarantee you, if you got a beat up car and you got some damage, you're going to feel it.
And now the field gets set to double it up. Lights out on the pace car. It has been shortened. We'll try this again. Eric Kling on the outside. That puts Severa now in the catbird seat.
Well, Chris Severa just has to love what has just transpired in front of him, because it's like it just quit raining and the sun came out, and then all of a sudden now he can see a way through this thing again. You know, the position that he was in, he was still having to actually do a little bit of racing, but once that 62 car gets out in clean air, it's really hard to catch it there, Nolan.
So, it's Severa on the inside, Kling on the outside. And this will be a nervous moment to get through this chicane. And we'll see if we can get through unscathed this time around.
We added cautions to a cautionless race.
Good grief. Final chicane this time by. They are going to go single file somewhat through this chicane, and now they're going to get set to rapidly double it up before we go back green flag racing, and field checking up slightly, and now Severo launches early. We're back underway, and we're back to racing for the Farmers Insurance 117.
Now it's time to heat those rotors back up. Hopefully not drive too hard there in that turn, as we looks like Schaffner's locking them up a little bit. Jay Hone not trying to get himself in there looking around, but so far everything's also all good.
Oh, Wayne Grassi, look out! Grassi into the turn to the wall, comes back on, and knocks Kenny Powell off of the racetrack. Wayne Grassi getting shoved into the turn 2 barrier right through the S's. Jay Hone trying to make a move that was never gonna work. Oh boy. Looking at the replay, I mean, Jay Hone's trying to go for a door that was always going to close. And Kenny Powell just caught as an innocent bystander.
Yep, and looks like we got the 11 car just hard into that wall there going around the turn. That's not going to play too well for his dynamics as well. As now we're going to see what's happened there with the number 5 car, is he is going to be coming up on Jay Hone and that 77 car of Brian Strunk.
Jay Hone still trying to close up to the number 77 car in the battle for, at the moment, 5th place. Breaking a touch earlier, but trying to force the issue, but Strunk not going to yield. He's going to cut across Hone's line and allow him through. in big trouble in the S as Robert Pattengale just got hit hard by Wayne Grossi right in the middle of the chicane. And we'll take a look at this here. Once again, replay. This was a self-inflicted error for Robert Pattengale, and you're going to watch this here as he enters the bus stop chicane too late, has to swing wide into the grass to avoid running over Powell. And at this one, he's out of control. He's on the grass, trying to just lock it down, comes on track, and Grossi's just got nowhere to go.
Yeah, just Grossi's luck just continues to just, yeah, he's, like I said, he's got the worst luck out there of anybody. He was minding his own business. He's been hit 3 times tonight for doing nothing. Let's just buy this guy a break is what we need to do.
On board with Wayne Grossi, who had just no time to react, no space to go, even if he could have reacted in time. And
Yeah,
now in the pit road.
Yeah, Pattengale really left him nowhere to go right there.
Up in front, Strunk and Adamson look set to start to duke it out for the 4th position. 2nd to 3rd traded hands. That battle already shrinking out, though, as Strunk got a good run for the West Horseshoe, and Adamson just says, yep, you can have that one up for turn 6. So Strunk goes through. That will put Gary Adamson now back towards the 4th position on the racetrack. If I were to tell you that we would have a very, very wild restart overall in this 3rd stage and listed off all the events that have happened so far since even before I took the green flag, would you have believed me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're the reason why we are sitting here, man, just waiting on you to tell us how this thing's going to end, because I've given up. I don't have a clue. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to just piece together what I just saw. I mean,
I think that makes 2 of us. Suspension of disbelief, right? That's how you tell a good story.
yeah, and the sad part about it is now we're not going to figure out what Kozlowski's pit strategy was.
Jay Hone is trying to close up to the back end of one Gary Adamson up and towards turn number 1. And Adamson, I think, is just trying to limp it home at this point in time and not wanting to kind of put too much pressure. He swings way wide through turn 1, allowing Jay Hone a very easy time getting through. And Chris Johnson, he'll follow right through, say thank you very much. So Gary Adamson falling back at a rapid rate. He was once up into 4th, and he is already fallen all the way back to 7th in just half a lap.
Yeah, well, looks like Johnson and Hone are still going to be battling it out here. Hone's taking these turns a little interesting, and Johnson's, well, we know our defending champion to be a little bit aggressive, so it'll be interesting to see how this battle plays out, as these 2 gentlemen are neither one of them no stranger to controversy, especially here today.
And all the while, race leader Chris Severa has stretched down to over a 3.5 second lead. We'll take a midway Tucson Sound Art race break. We'll run top to bottom throughout your field. Chris Severa, your race leader, 3.8 seconds up from Eric Klingon, 2nd, with Josh Schaffner in 3rd. Ryan Strunk rounds out the 4th positions with Jay Hone down in 5th. Chris Johnson is in 6th place with Gary Adamson rounding out the top half of the field, along with Kenny Powell, Greg Wyszynski, Don Avery singling out your top 10 here, Al.
Yeah, looks like that's going to put Robert Pattengale in the 11th, with Wayne Grossi off the track in 12th. Al Kozlowski shown 3 laps down. It's going to be in 13th. John Mullins shown 4 laps down in 14th. Paul Olsen shown 5 laps down in 15th, and looks like Mark Johnson being the only driver that's out of the race and 9 laps down. And that's going to round out your 16-car field here in this Tucson Sound Art 33-lap race.
And Tucson Sound introduces an entirely new and enjoyable way to listen to music in your own home. Uploading music and making your own images and pictures into Sound Art is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Everyone who looks at the picture will wonder where the great sound is coming from. A single charge will last days and gives you the ability to go truly wireless with no power cables. Sound Art looks good in any room in the house, from the front room to the back room. The speakers are powered by batteries and receive audio via a Bluetooth connection. meaning nobody will even know the art they are looking at is actually producing the sound they're hearing. Tucson Sound Art specializes in creating custom artwork from your personal artwork and photos. You can also choose images for their expansive collection of high-quality photos. It's a perfect gift for friends, family, and business associates. To visit more, visit www.tucsonsoundart.com. Problems for Eric Kling, who has dropped out of the second position as we conclude our Tucson Sound Art midway race break. Had a spin through the West Horseshoe and out through the kink, which sees him now tumbling out of the podium positions, and we got to get a look at it if we can, because how he kept it out of the barriers is beyond me.
Yeah, that then not really good for him, because now he's going to have Jay Holmes going to be breathing down his neck, and Jay's definitely going to be trying to battle, because he is actually having himself a pretty good race. There he is. You got it.
Whoop, whoop. Brakes, slow it down, brakes, please. Just as he gets over the West Horseshoe, manages to turn it away from the barriers. Ooh, it almost gets into Strunk as he comes back on. No harm, no foul, though. But that does put now Eric Kling all the way back in fourth. With a little bit of work if he wants to catch up to second place, who is now 4 seconds up the road.
Yeah, he's battling on. It's coming up on that 77 car right now. Definitely going to keep, he is going to keep driving the wheels off that thing, you understand, because he's going to try to make up as many positions as he can. Nolan, I think we should be coming up on pit stops here sometime pretty soon, shouldn't we?
Soon indeed, but right now, Kling not focusing on pit stops as he gets past Ryan Strunk. Well, not quite, actually. Strunk looking to battle this one out through the king, but does break early and lets Kling take it through turn number 4. But you mentioned pit stops coming on up, and Kenny Powell was just in pit road, and Greg Wyszynski followed in right after him. So 2 drivers already down for their final pit stops on the day, but... well, actually, no, that'd be right around the time you'd expect it, because there's 14 laps left to go in this race. That is about as long as you can go on 1 tank of fuel.
Yeah, it looks like that 77 car is just getting a little bit out of shape there. Kling is, he's going to try to go ahead and battle back up, like we said. It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances for him losing control. Green flag pit stops underway now, so as these drivers start to come down on pit road in their pit strategies now, because looks like we've got the 64 car and the 88 car, Keselowski's coming down on pit road. As these pit stops are going to unfold, we'll start to see how these guys get back onto the race surface, and if they're actually any penalties that are incurred on the pit road.
Strunk's going back for 3rd place up the inside of Eric Kling into the final chicane, but Kling breaks later around the outside, and Jay Hone's trying to follow through. The 12 car is going to bite into 77. Oh, and it's a big crash. Ryan Strunk beaches it on the curbs, and Chris Johnson's left with nowhere to go. And Ryan Strunk suffers the consequences of just trying to pinch it in. Jay Hone tried to make a send up the inside, and it just didn't work. And the hit was to the left rear of the 77 car, and it just pitched the car up into the air.
And then Jay Hone just subsequently lost control of his car somewhere around there, around turn 1. So he is actually back off the racing surface as we speak. So the 77 car apparently is going to be able to gain that position back, but he's still got the 11 car looking back on the inside of him for the position. And Kling's going to take the position back from don't take the 7th position back from the 77 car.
So you mentioned that Helen had a problem. After this replay here, stick with the number 12 just up the road, and you'll see exactly why he lost so much time. It's the weirdest spin just about that I've ever seen since we saw the Austin Powers moment just 3 nights ago. Watch this coming on down in a turn number 1, and this is going to be one that I imagine you probably haven't seen yet either. Al loses it on control of the entry and gets shot into the pit exit lane. And now he's stuck there, so he's actually got to take the full-on pit exit lane out of pit road.
Yeah, that is definitely pretty pretty interesting.
A strange race that we're having here today.
Yeah,
Farmers Insurance 117. It's been eventful. We'll say that much. It's been very eventful.
Now that's really going to destroy Holmes' opportunities because he still has yet to pit. So him actually going down pit road consecutively twice is not going to do him any good. As a 77 car loses it through the bus stop. So yeah, still trying to figure out what's happening here.
What is going on? I'm not sure what Strong is trying to do. He's trying to give the spot back, or look at this here. I mean, just swings it out wide, clips the cone, and then comes way back on and almost beaches himself again.
You think maybe he was
Oh no, he's got suspension damage. That's what's going on. He's got some suspension damage. He's kind of counter-steering it a little bit as he's going straight. He's trying to come to pit road. That's why he's going so slow. I don't think he realized how bad it actually was. Jay Hone's also into the lane now.
Roger, and looks like now Kenny Powell has got himself back into the top 10. Going to go ahead and secure that 7th position.
Kenny Powell passes up Greg Wachinski, or he is currently ahead of Greg Wachinski, but Wachinski is closing in. And last time by Wachinski, 3 seconds faster than Kenny Powell, so I'd be very surprised if Wachinski didn't get past Powell this lap.
Well, Powell's probably he's probably gonna make it not easy for him. These positions are right at this point in the race. You know, they've already both pit. I wouldn't give him a position. I'd go ahead and race him as hard as I possibly could, just to be honest with you. No, I'd yield if he was a lot faster than me. I would. I mean, I'm not gonna Jay home. Did I say that?
That being said, I have to wonder if potentially he would be looking to get a bit of a moment here, maybe trying to close on up to the back end of Powell, maybe save a bit of fuel while he is at it. I want to point out that Gary Anderson has had an off in the final chicane, or not the final chicane, the backstretch chicane, nosed it head on into the barriers. First time we've seen somebody actually crash in either race on that back straightaway chicane. Fun fact for you right there. So Anderson becomes the first of what I thought would be a lot more. Avery's come down to pit road. We'll take one real quick look at this little bit of a moment right here on the back straight chicane, and then we'll turn our attention back up to the battle for 7th place on the racetrack. Just a bit too wide, clips the grass, head on into the tire barriers. Textbook wreck right there for Daytona.
Yep, looks like he popped his bonnet too. So we got another hoodless horseman out there tonight.
Don Avery's just leaving pit road. He will be passed up by both Powell and Wachinski. Well, I say that. He actually might be in a battle with the two of these guys as they exit pit road. Don Avery, you see him on the left-hand side over the wall, but forced to yield a little bit more thanks to the cones, and he'll have to try to battle back now against Wachinski and Powell. He will have fresher tires. This is about to kick off here for the battle for 5th.
Yeah, and if anybody is going to make it exciting, it's going to be Avery as well as Wachinski, as well as Powell. So if anything, this little battle right here is going to heat up. Is probably going to be the most exciting battle that we got going on the racetrack right now, Nelda, as Powell actually looks like he gets a little bit out of control there, but he's going to save it. But you got to imagine these guys are definitely going to be letting it all hang out in order to close the gap on each other as we bring this thing down to with 12 to go and this remaining in the race.
It is not over yet by any stretch of the means. 11 laps to go this time by. And still a lot of racing left to go as well, as we got still about a half of stage 1 left to, or stage 3, excuse me, left to run. Oh, look out, Wachinski's too deep, and he's gonna go off in the bus stop chicane and swings it back on. Nobody's coming, though, so he's got nothing to worry about. John Avery, though, will go up now into 6th.
Yeah, it's just not really good because those positions are hard to come by. They're easy to lose, but they're really hard to make up. As looks like Kling's going to dive in on Grassi as he's trying to close the gap between him and Josh Schaffner for 2nd place.
Trying to close in. We'll see if he'll be able to do so. So for now, We'll take a quick step away. We'll give our voice a little bit of a rest. We'll ride on board with Eric Kling as he tries to run down the second place driver of Josh Schaffner. John Avery has closed in the gap. Powell messes up. Turn number 6. Avery to the outside, into the wall, back to the inside, and looking for it into the bus stop chicane, but no, dives deep on the brakes. Is it too deep? Just slows it down. What a battle we're seeing here currently for 4th place on the track, but now it's Avery's turn to get loose and lose some time.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting because at some point, Avery is going to come up onto the back of Powell, and he's going to have to make that move. So he's going to be very selective about when he does that because he's got his hands full tonight, you know?
Well, certainly does, and Powell's got his hands full as well. So both of these drivers having to battle the racetrack as much as they're having to battle each other. And I think what Avery has just realized there is that Powell, it's not just going to move aside and let him through.
No, it's the wrong month for that. Let's just run down our Tucson Sound Art running order. Looks like we got Chris Severa tucked away nicely in the lead with Josh Severa, some 50 seconds behind him. Eric Kling's going to be in 3rd place with Kenny Powell in 4th. Don Avery is bringing in 5th place with Greg Wachinski in 6th. Gary Adamson's going to be in 7th place. Jay Hone in 8th. Robert Paddingale in 9th. And Wayne Grassi rounding out the top 10. Grassi additionally being 3 laps down.
Well, there you got Strung, who is out of the race car. Same with Chris Johnson. Now Kozlowski, the last running driver on the lead lap, with John Mullins at 14th, Olsen is 15th, Mark Johnson is 16th. Race leader Chris Severa is in pit road this time by. Drivers have slowly been cycling on through, and I believe this will be just about one of the last drivers there is that needs to be able to get a run, and we should have a relatively easy time, as Severa will, I believe, be able to get on out of pit road well before second place can catch him.
Yeah, you see Severa not taking any chances as he slowly brings that 62 forward down pit road. He's had too many instances where he's actually lost races just because of incidents that have occurred on pit road, not wanting to repeat that duty tonight.
Only 3 cars are within 1 minute of the race leader currently. I think that really goes to show just how far in front Severa is. That means he's got almost nobody on track that is within so much as half a lap of him.
Well, that's either...
That being said, yeah, I was going to say, that being said, my timing scoring did just update, so now it is 7 cars that are within a minute of him. I'm standing correct majorly on that one.
Yeah, but that's either a testament of how good he is or just how great that setup is, or a combination of both. Because, you know, if we know anything about this car, this 670. Oh, and Severa is off the racing surface. He actually lost control of it coming out of the turn there, Nolan.
A little bit of a slide. It's happened to everybody before. It could happen to anyone. And so Severa gets back on course. No harm, no foul. Close battle for position on course. Still between Avery and Powell. They're kind of hovering around just within a second of each other, as there you see yet another airplane landing right in behind Daytona National Speedway.
Yeah.
Not close to the view of a jetliner. Well, there you go.
Yeah, what I was going to say there before I got excited about the Severa is that it's just the amount of time that you actually have to spend in these race cars turning laps with this new package that we got. You're almost learning how to drive the car all over again. So to be able to come here and be able to run as many clean, consistent laps that fast, that's an awesome testament for that team.
13 seconds between Severa and Kling alone. Battle for second place, though, is actually looking to be a bit tighter. Josh Schaffner looking for the inside of Eric Kling into turn 1. I think Kling just kind of let him have that one there. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You don't see people taking that wide of a line if they plan on defending a position.
Yeah, right. And there's really no need for Kling to fight and try to hold Schaffner off. You know, Schaffner obviously having the faster cars. He did come from, you know, a little ways back there. So Kling doing the right thing, being that, you know, if it's going to be his, he'll be there a little bit later on with it. But right now, just let the man pass. No sense to wreck each other just trying to fight for position.
So, as we get set to once again sort things out, you got Kling v. Schaffner, as well as Avery v. Powell. Keeping one eye on Wachunski and Adamson, seeing if that battle is going to get any closer than it is at the moment. But as you can see, a bit of distance between these two drivers still, but it's been slowly creeping in. There's still some potential for it.
Well, with nothing being able to stop this race right now, it's just going to be just that. It's going to be a race to the finish, as we got 7 laps to go here, and all of these drivers can actually see the finish line. They can actually smell it. Now it's just a matter of trying to keep your car out of the wall and out of the grass and on the race surface, and trying to finish this thing so you can actually gain points and not lose positions, and because this is a points race as well, right?
Oh, second place starting to pick on up. Schaffner's missed the front stretch chicane. This is about to kick off here. Schaffner's got a slowdown penalty because of that, and that is going to allow Eric Kling. Okay. Well, I think that kind of answers that. This is not a battle for second place because they're not wanting to battle each other. You saw, that's clear as day. I mean, Kling braked for him. Full stop.
Well, Kling's car is a little bit tore up as well, so I think he just realized that, like you said, if anybody can kind of lose it, Schaffner kind of lost it, but Schaffner obviously does still have the faster of the two cars. So, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Let's just kind of get this thing going and try to get it in the books. I think is where he's at right there on that one.
I think that makes the closest battle now between the likes of Avery and Kenny Powell. That gap has still not gone away. 24 in the 11 car, still looking a bit tight, and Chinsky Adamson still closing in, but they are still 2 seconds apart at the moment. So we'll keep tabs on your battle for 4th place here, just for the time being, unless something changes elsewhere in the running order. At the moment, you're going to have yourself less than 10 laps to go, coming up to 6 to go this time by. Oh, Powell having a bit of a moment there, swinging way out wide through turn 6 as a result. You got loose on corner entry there and actually cut through the grass.
Yeah, Kenny kind of taking the scenic route around the turn. But there's nothing wrong with that. He was still actually able to keep that car clean and maintain his position. So, Nolan, if this were to end where it does, what does that do for us as far as the points race?
I wouldn't know where to begin with that, to be completely honest with you. I could try to figure something out, but obviously this would be before you factor in the stage points. But the way it sits at the moment, Chris Severa is looking set to open up, I'd say, another 10-point gap on Kenny Powell, possibly make it up to 20 points by race's end. When you factor in all the stages, Josh Schaffner is in 2nd place, and at the moment, I do believe would either be tied with Powell, or up by 2, or behind by 1. It's within that range. And those are really the drivers that are still in contention at this point in time for the championship fight. Because you got Chris Johnson, who's 90 points out from the race leaders, in 4th place. But he's already out of tonight's race. He's out of the points battle, effectively. 5th on back are over 100 points out. So they've basically almost got, no offense to the guys that went Grossi Berbachinsky, but it's a very dwindling chance for them to go for a title still.
Well, that clears up a lot, so that would kind of give everybody an idea where we're at as far as the point setup goes. As we are coming to, looks like we're 5 to go on this thing here before we can get it in the books. Powell and Avery actually being the closest race right now on the racing surface, so we're just gonna, whoa, as Avery just made that not the case.
And we've had a swap for 6th place as well, and it was quite abrupt. The 2-second gap became a 1-second gap, and then a 0-second gap quite quickly. And then Adamson quickly extended that to a 5+ second lead over Wachinski, because Wachinski spun out right across Adamson, who finished him off, basically. And this was all at the International Horseshoe. Greg Wachinski just, I think, a bit too trigger happy on the accelerator. Actually, looking back at it now, clipped the grass, I believe, when he got on the accelerator. That shot him sideways, and Adamson just left with nowhere to go. Much like when Robert Pattingale spun, came back on track at the bus stop chicane, and Wayne Grossi had nowhere to go, except on much lower speed, so you didn't have Gary Adamson being forced to retire because of it.
And with that said, looks like Al Keselowski goes another lap down, putting him now 8 laps down, as the leader just swept by him with no problem, which just kind of bothers me, because I really wanted to see what his pit strategy was going to be. That's the one thing that's probably going to keep me up tonight.
There you see Eric Kling looking to try to close up to Josh Schaffner, but there's about 5 seconds separating them, and that gap's just showing no signs of closing in anytime soon. Looking forward into the weeks coming on up here, it's gonna get, we're gonna get some pretty high speeds here in just a little bit. You've got Daytona, obviously a plate track, coming up just next week. Then after that, how's this for a track that hasn't seen action in some time? Auto Club Speedway is back. And that has got to be one of my favorite 2-mile ovals out of the two 2-mile ovals that there actually are. You know, Michigan and Auto Club, give me Auto Club any day of the week. It is a phenomenal track. It is abrasive on tires, but it's got an old surface. It's a bit flatter, and I have yet to see a race that is not a thrill to watch. We got Vegas, round 3 of the Super Cup Series season, and it also doubles up as the season 1 finale before we cut back to Phoenix and Atlanta. And that's where we slow things down again significantly, right? Then you have Coda, Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, Dirt, back to back to back to back, followed by Talladega. I mean, you got a lot of very entertaining races coming on up here in the next month and a half or so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, tis the season. It's the race season itself is actually getting ready to start. So as it gets ready to go, you know, I just get a little bit more excited myself every week because we're going to go somewhere different. It's always going to be exciting and exhilarating. You never know what you can quite expect, especially with this new Gen 7 car that we got going. Just going to be a little something for everybody, I'm believing.
A 30-second gap between first and second place. Chris Rivera has just pulled off an absolute clinic on the field. He has got no pressure. The only way he loses this race is if he is 10 seconds a lap slower than everybody else, or if he finds himself, finding himself in a race-ending incident.
Yeah, he's drifted around a couple of barriers, so I've been watching him for a while now. He definitely is letting it hang out. You don't think he's just sitting there, slowing down and riding it out. He's still giving her all he's got. And looks like he's having a heck of a time, man. I wish I could drive that car around there that fast like that.
Showing how it's done. However, I mentioned he was going to try to pull off a Gleisen Hoffman. Well, he's got the 20-plus second gap part covered. He's got fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, but runner-up in Stage 2. So he will not be able to sweep the weekend.
Yep, no hat trick there, Severa.
On the opening stage, and hello. Bit of a stepping out of the back end there. I wonder, do you think he's just having some fun at this point in time, knowing how far out in front he is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been just an awesome pleasure just to watch this guy navigate these tracks this season here with the curveball that the Gen 7 car has kind of thrown everybody, especially with the add of that 670 horsepower package. But Severa's come out here week in and week out and really only beat himself. So, yeah, it's been really awesome to watch.
1.5 laps left to go from Daytona. Chris Rivera entering the back straightaway for the second to last time. Not quite the final time today. Got a bit ahead of myself here. Second to last time for Chris Rivera on the back straightaway. And through the chicanes. Now, I kind of want to almost dare him to try to drift through NASCAR 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. Take your pick. But, I don't think he'd be willing to take quite that big of a risk.
Yeah, probably not. But looks like Avery's still going to be gnawing on the back of Powell. Just not really wanting to let that one go just yet either. I can't say that I'm blaming. But that is definitely our most exciting coming so far on the race. Because Severa is going to come on around here with 1 to go. And looks like he's just going to go ahead and put this thing, another trophy in his case. Another stripe on his vest, if you will.
White flag in the air as you ride on board with Chris Rivera on his final trip around the Daytona International Speedway Road Course at the World Center of Racing for the Farmers Insurance 117 and round number 9 of the ISCA Association Tucson Sounder Cup Series in the first season of 2022. Only 3 drivers remain within 1 minute of your race leader. Neither of them are within 30 seconds. And there's only 7 cars left on the lead lap. Greg Wyszynski has come down to pit road. And that looks like he will be finding himself out of the race, unable to finish this race as well. All the while, you still got your battle for 4th and 5th. You mentioned picking on it up just a little bit. They've still got a whole lap left to settle this one out. And Don Avery, I think, might be trying to find something up the inside of Kenny Powell in this closing lap. No challenge for 2nd place for the time being, so we'll look back real quick to race leader Chris Severa coming through NASCAR. Turn 4 now. And coming on down into the final chicane for the final time today. It does not get much more dominant than a 38-second advantage in just 20 laps. Chris Severa wins the Farmers Insurance 117 from Daytona.
That's got to be a great feeling for him, and looks like Josh Schaffner is going to secure that 2nd place. Eric Kling doesn't have any contention for 3rd place as we are riding along, still watching that battle there between Kenny Powell and Don Avery, as Don Avery has just a couple more shots to make this pass if he's going to try to make it stick. If not, then Powell's definitely going to secure that spot, but Avery probably not going to want to let it go. This is his one time right now. He's going to try to get as much momentum as he can. Come around that final turn around the back stretch as we get ready to go into that final chicane. This will be his last final chance to try to make that move on Kenny Powell. We'll see how it lines it up.
Into the chicane for the final time today. Avery closes up, jumps over the curb, and that is going to be the nail in the coffin. Kenny Powell will hold on for P4 at the line.
Which means Don Avery will be in 5th place, rounding out our top 5. Gary Adamson in 6th. Jay Hone's going to be in 7th. Robert Pattingill 1 lap down in 8th. Wayne Agrassi in 9th. And Greg Wyszynski is going to round off the points paying positions.
Well, not quite the points paid position. You do get at the end of the race. You do get points scored for all 43 positions available on the racetrack. You're thinking stages. We're a bit past that at that point.
Yeah. That's thanks. Good catch on that.
Jay Hone finally crosses the line, so we'll show you your official post-race results here. And sure enough, true to form, Severa, Schaffner, Kling, Powell, Avery, Adamson, Home, Pattingill, Grassi, Wyszynski, just as Al called out, rounding out the top 10. And from there, it's only people that didn't even finish this race. Al Kozlowski, Ryan Strong, Chris Johnson, Paul Olson, John Mullins, Mark Johnston, rounding out your 16-car grid. So we got some drivers already looking to give us a chat here tonight, and we'll kick things off with 3rd place runner Eric Kling. We'll start from the bottom this week, and we'll work our way up. Eric Kling joining us here after having a bit of a time near the back of this field, just trying to get himself sorted, but you do finish just tucked in behind Josh Schaffner. Why don't you walk us through your race?
Yeah, it was, it was going well for most of the race. I was trying to stay out of trouble. Initially, when I started, I had a goal of 0 incidents, which obviously didn't work out very well. But, I was keeping pace with Chris Severa there for a while. And, I had a pretty good race for the most part. Still came home 3rd. Had that little incident at the, at the final stop. And, that kind of damaged the engine a little bit, which kind of put me back on speed.
You had a couple of times where you might have wanted to go for the move around Josh Schaffner. You had the speed to do so, but you did decide to kind of back off at the last minute. I have to ask you, do you think that maybe you could have gone for the position, or do you just want to back out because you didn't want to take the risk?
I mean, if it was in the last half there, it was because every time I would on the Daytona straights, I was overheating. So every time I'd come up to the braking point, it would then the water light would come on at 266 degrees. So I had to back off. So I mean, I got to a certain point where I realized that I could catch him in the infield, but I could not make up for anything after that. So I wasn't going to try and push the engine any further than it could and risk not finishing the race.
So talk us through the races coming on up. Of course, Super Cup Series season kicks off next week when we go racing around the oval. Do you got high hopes you could be able to kick off the Super Cup Series season on a high?
Yeah, hopefully. This league is pretty awesome as far as the type of talent that we have. So I'm expecting some pretty good things, and the race we got.
Before I let you go, then here, Eric, anybody you'd like to shout out for us here before I let you go?
G&G Racing, ISCA, just anyone that helps put this together. You guys for doing this week in, week out. It's pretty fun to watch the broadcasts.
And thank you, Eric, for taking the time to join us here tonight. Congratulations on a third-place finish. Best of luck next week when we go plate racing.
Yep, thank you.
I'll move us on quickly to our second-place finisher, Josh Job, to join us up here in the broadcast booth. I'll pass this one down to you, Al.
Hey, Josh, Big Al up here in the broadcast booth. Solid race tonight, solid finish. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, for me, congratulations to Chris. Just did a great job. Just the class of the field, and for me, I was probably a third place car. Eric had a little trouble there, and he was still better on the infield, but with his damage, I could pull him on the super speedway part. But good race. I've been slowly getting better at road racing. It's been a work in progress, but for me to come out here tonight and finish second and have zero incidents the whole race, I'll take it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, awesome, strong showing. Definitely going to be good there with that second place finish. We get ready to go plate racing next week. What are your thoughts going into that?
Yeah, excited about it. I think the package is going to be improved over kind of what we had at Talladega the last time we were super speedway racing. So excited to give that a whirl, and definitely it can, late racing can be a coin flip. How those can turn out, but looking forward to getting off the road for a while and getting back on the super speedways.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big transition from this week to next. Anybody you would like to give a shout out to there, Mr. Schaffner?
Yeah, a lot of people. You want to thank the ISCA, Kenny, and that whole group, and Tucson Sound Arts. You guys up in the booth, Al and Nolan, everyone that does a great job up there each week. We really appreciate you guys doing such a great job on the broadcast. And got to thank Premier Racing Setups. The setup was close. I made some tweaks early in the week and just kind of left it. And overall, I was pretty happy with it. I just never really quite found the rear grip I needed all week, and it might just be more driver than anything, but that was my struggle. But then also want to thank Smith Farms and sure Todd and Tyler watching that whole group, and just everyone else that helped us out each week.
Well, hey, thank you very much for your time, sir. Awesome finish tonight, and have a good week.
Thanks, Al.
That'll move us on down now to our final driver and the race winner for the night. 38 seconds sees Chris Severa taking the checker flag here tonight. And well, Chris, I'll start off with, I think what kind of helped you get a bit of an easier time getting up into the lead. You're coming to the green flag at stage 3. All of a sudden, Al shoots towards the outside wall in front of you. In that moment, what's going through your head?
I was just like, yeah, I'm bailing on this. Just cut the last chicane there, just to get away from all the carnage. Then unfortunately we had to stop just because I didn't want to get a black flag for passing Al before the green flag came out. It was a bit hectic. I was worried that I stopped so much that I was going to give someone else a black flag. Luckily there's a lot of heads-up drivers in here. They all handled it the best we all could in that situation. Unfortunately, we got through it clean.
Well, overall, it was a solid race from start to finish for you. I mean, you had that slight hiccup that saw you lose out and finish runner-up for stage 2, but I think with all of that being considered, was this still the race you were hoping to have here tonight from Daytona, the road course?
Yeah, definitely coming in here just trying to race the track. I started out this week high 56s to get down. I think this is the hottest track that I was able to get down into the 54s in, so I'm really happy with that. Going forward with that, it's obviously a great points day for us, so we'll take it going forward.
And of course, Super Cup Series season competition is coming on up starting just next week. Do you plan to see if you can maybe be as dominant in that series as you have been so far in the first season of the regular Cup Series season?
I don't know. I'm kind of stuck to just doing it on Saturdays, so we're just going to take everything week by week and just let the chips fall where they may.
Before I let you go then here, Chris, anybody you'd like to shout out for that GNG number 62?
Yeah, everybody at G&G, you guys got ISCA, Tucson South Art, Premier Setups, just everybody for putting in all the laps. I learned a lot this week from everybody on the team. And again, you guys, Nolan, Al, Rob, really appreciate y'all.
And thank you for taking the time to join us here tonight. Chris, congratulations on the race win. Best of luck next week on the Oval.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And that will be a wrap from us then here for the Farmers Insurance 117 at the Daytona International Speedway Road Course. So for myself, Nolan Rampel, along with my colleague Alfonso Nixon, as well as Rob Melody down behind the cameras for tonight's race. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us here tonight for more ISCA racing action. We'll see you all next week when the Super Cup Series gets kicked off at the World Center of Racing.